First up, you know this guy, the Oscar-winning director of Bowling for Columbine, Sicko, and Fahrenheit 9/11. His latest documentary, Fahrenheit 11/9, opens today. The People's comedian, Michael Moore. That's what you are to me. You are the people's comedian.
Wow.
Not in a North Korean way, I mean.
Yeah, right.
Tribune of the people, and you have done it again, Maestro. I don't know how you keep doing it. You know, you do what journalism should do, which is you make what's important interesting.
Yeah.
And compelling, and you can't take your eyes off it. And this movie, first of all, the title fell right in your lap there, didn't it?
Yeah. He was appointed president at 2:29 in the morning on 11/9.
It's spooky.
16, yeah.
So the movie coming out right before the election, obviously, you want that. You don't make any bones about it. You're a polemicist like I am. We want people to agree with our point of view.
Yes.
And
vote.
And vote.
And vote.
Is that the main message you want to What's the main thing you want people to come away knowing from this?
It's not a democracy if you're sitting on the bench. Everybody has to get off the bench. Everyone has to participate. It's not a spectator sport.
Right.
But what the movie shows and tries to explain as to why sometimes people stay on the bench. And I get into talking about this, about the Democratic Party, and it's a bit of a balancing act in this film because it's listed as Michael Moore's Trump film, but nobody wants to go to the theater and look at Trump for 2 hours.
No.
So I do a favor for the audience.
Right.
I don't think you see him more than 20 minutes in the film, but it is about the Trumpian time in which we live.
No, I think
and how we got here.
I think it's great that, I mean, I do this too. You go after the Democrats. I mean, that's what friends do.
Yes.
They're honest with their friends.
That is correct.
Cowards don't.
Right.
And you are very brave in this. I mean, you say very unflattering things about both Clinton and Obama and Hillary.
Yes, which was hard. First of all, I love President Obama. We may not have a better president in my lifetime. I was for Bernie, but I was out there stumping for Hillary in the general election and trying to get people out there.
But you seem to keep harping on this idea. I mean, I came away from it with that old Republican talking point notion, oh, crooked Hillary, she stole it from Bernie. But she didn't steal it from Bernie. I mean, she got a lot more votes than Bernie.
Correct, except we'll never really know because in the 22 states that he won, which is 3 less than half the country, half the states.
But caucus states.
Yes, many caucus states. Okay. They've got to get rid of that system. It should just be a primary where everybody votes, and there's no superdelegates. Whoever gets the most votes is the person who at the convention becomes the candidate. That's the easy way to do that and to fix it. And the DNC, a few weeks ago, they had a meeting and they said they got rid of the superdelegates, but they didn't. People need to understand this. All they did was say the superdelegates cannot vote on the first ballot at the convention. After that, they can vote on every ballot and everything else. So they did not get rid of the superdelegates. And to the Republicans' credit, they actually don't have superdelegates. Whoever's at that convention is, whoever is there to represent the white people that voted for them. So the white people deserve a party, Bill. Oh. And they're Americans too.
No, they are. That's very true. That's how Trump won. He made his people feel like a minority.
Right.
They still think that. I mean, they think reverse racism is a bigger problem than racism. I mean.
Right. The problem here, though, is that, and I know this personally, and I feel this personally, and that's why it's in this film, because Hillary lost Michigan by about 2 votes per precinct. That's it. All right, they never should have lost a blue state. And I interviewed John Podesta in the film, and I said, well, how did this happen? And how, first of all, the vote got depressed because the people of Flint, when they were told that she got the questions in advance, and Bernie didn't, that they felt used as props out there in the audience, standing up and asking their question, and they already knew, Hillary already knew what the question was. So people first were upset about that. In Michigan, this never happens. There were more people, a record number of people voting in the April primary between her and Bernie than who showed up in the general election in November. And in the film, I show something that sadly President Obama did by coming to Flint and telling people the water was okay. It was still poison. And then he pretended to drink from a glass of water and then said it wasn't a stunt. And it was. And it just put a knife in the heart of so many people in Flint who were hoping he would come, bring the Army Corps of Engineers, dig up these poison pipes, and replace the pipes in the city. And in fact, he didn't do that. And then people gave up. And a lot of people stayed home. They didn't vote for Trump, but they stayed home. And now, you and I wish that wouldn't happen, and you shouldn't stay home, and you should see clearly how bad it's going to be. But you cannot talk to people who have suffered so much, especially in this town, where their jobs were eliminated 30 years ago. Then the economy was ruined. The pipes are poisoned. And then, as I show in the film, Obama sends the Pentagon in to use Flint as target practice. And for 10 days and 10 nights in a row, fires missiles and bombs into abandoned buildings, troops firing their guns. Nobody was told in advance that they were coming. Everybody thought it was a terrorist incident. And it's like the feeling of we're nobody, and America's forgotten us. We're still drinking out of bottled water. And in this small little example, you see how sometimes the Democrats really screw it up. They're the party of the people. They should be there for the people. They should fight for the people. But the good news about this election in November is that people like myself and others, you've contributed to the DSCC.
I'm still feeling
But where do you get this money?
because no divorces, no alimonies. Really. People ask me this all the time. No divorces, no alimonies, no kids.
Right.
No stupid hobbies like celebrities have. I don't collect fucking cars or motorcycles or paintings. I don't do coke or hooker. All of the crazy shit that people do, I don't do. So and the Mets. So there's a lot of money but that's what I spend it on.
Right.
That's what, because...
Well, thank you for doing that. And what I and others have done have gone out and trying to encourage
and let's do it more.
To run for office.
And by the way, that million looked sillier 5 weeks ago when I did it because the Senate didn't look like it's in play. It is in play. It is very much in play.
Yes, it is. And thank you. If you remember when I was on your show in June, and I said to you, we can win the Senate, and you said to me on the show even then, oh, wait a minute, where are you going to get this? And I said, well, you border 2 states right here with Arizona and Nevada.
Right.
Those are winnable states for the Senate.
You always straighten me out.
No.
No, it's true.
No, but thank you for not asking me to contribute. I just,
right. Well, you got divorced. What you did. Look, and you've been through a lot. I was going to ask you,
Been through a lot, Bill.
But there's never anything worse than divorce. I know. Every guy tells me the same thing. It's
no. There was the person who built the fertilizer bomb that was going to blow up my house.
I wanted to ask
that guy was worse than the divorce.
I wanted to ask you that because, I think getting lost in the story about Professor Ford is that she had to move out of her house, and she gets death threats, and there's a smear campaign on the internet, and things go viral, and we've become this death threat society.
Yeah.
And, people say to me sometimes, oh, do you think this could get violent? I think it is violent. But I also think that's Trump's next card to play.
Yes.
I've already seen him talking about it. If the Democrats take over, he says, they're very violent people.
Right.
We're the violent people.
Right.
He always turns it, you're the puppet.
Right.
Always turns it around. But that's what he has when the Mueller report comes out or when some other thing crashes down on him.
He's the violent person. He's the sexual predator.
Oh, totally.
He is an admitted sexual predator, and I don't mean just the Billy Bush bus. You're the only person on TV who will state exactly what, if anybody is a public teacher in here, a public school teacher, there's a law in the state of California and in most states that if, let's say, your 13-year-old girl student comes to you and says, my dad keeps saying that if I weren't his daughter, he'd be dating me. My dad said the other day that the thing that we have most in common is sex. This picture my dad wanted me to take with me sitting on his lap and kissing him. If you were a teacher and were given that, you were required by the law to turn him in. That you've shown this on your show. He did this when she was a tween, when she was a teen, and he bragged about how voluptuous my daughter is, and she's a teenager. The thing is that we let him get away with this. The media let him get away with it. All his friends in the media, Les Moonves, Roger Ailes, all the Bill O'Reillys, the Matt Lauers. I show this all in the film.
Bill Shine is now,
yes, exactly.
who was the guy at Fox News when Roger Ailes was there covering, and Bill O'Reilly. Now he's the advisor to Trump in the White House, prepping Brett Kavanaugh, the Republican. They're always 6 degrees from sexual harassment, that part.
It's a lot closer than just 6 degrees of it. They believe in this. That's why they don't like this woman who's come forward, and they want to go after her now. And they've given her till tonight or something.
Right, ridiculous.
Well, right now, I think, when we're on the air.
Because women love ultimatums. That's what...
Yeah, especially those who have been victimized by men. You know, nothing like saying to a potential rape victim, you got till 10 o'clock.
Especially when it's...
to tell us about the rape. You know, it's like...
Chuck Grassley, who's 85,000 years old, and looks like he's out of the crucible, you know?
Right.
You have to... Okay. Michael, I gotta go. I could talk to you all night. I'll talk to you after. All right. Michael Moore, ladies and gentlemen, the People's Comedian. Go see this movie. It's entertaining and important.